First of all, between the founders and co-founders, equity should be not more than 2 to 5 minute discussion. Any discussion which goes beyond 2 to 5 minutes, that means there is much more to that than just discussing numbers. Because when you're starting a company, 10% is also small, or 100% is also small, or 10% can be also very big, or 100% can also be very big. No one knows about it. But I think just do a very, very broad mathematics around it and say, you know what, this is yours, this is mine, finish. These are for your earlier founders. But let's say if in the case there was money involved and some people were putting money, someone was not and someone was. How do you structure competition? This is the very simple way we have derived out of it. Let's say if there is 100 rupees required to kind of start a business, and there are two founders. One is both are putting money, equal money, but only one will work and one is not working. So typically how do we do that? So we say, okay, what is first? Investing equity. That means you are putting 50, I am putting 50, okay, and 100 rupees is required, 50% yours, 50% mine. Now that was investing equity. Now is executive equity. That means because only one guy will work, he should get anywhere between 10 to 20% of the pool into his kitty because he is working. So that means if both got 50-50%, let's say in argument's sake they settled on 20% as the executive equity. So 20% will go out of 50 of both. So so that means at final in the final number, one guy has 60%, other guy has 40%, because 20%, which is 10 of 50, has gone out of both. And now so the new shareholding is, while they've invested equal amount of money because one guy was working, the shares between 60 and 14, just finish it off. And some numbers here and there does not matter. Don't linger on these discussions, just close it. This is about founders. So if let's say both are investing and both are working, the situation is very easy, because both are putting money and both are also working, so it's equal stake going out to both of us. That's probably quite easy to do. But let's say if one is putting money and both are working, right? In that case also, so let's say if 100 rupees was required and one guy has put in all 100 rupees, but both are working, then out of that 100 rupees which was investing equity, so 100 rupees is equal to 100%. So one guy gets, the first guy gets 100 rupees, the person who has put in money. And now the ESOP, the executive pool is taken out of that 100%. So let's say argument's sake 30%, they say okay, 30% will be now divided between the two founders who are working. So that means now both of the founders were working, so out of that 30%, 15% will go to each. So net one guy will be at 85% and one guy will be at 15%. So that's how broadly it can be done. I mean, the numbers can keep changing, and but these are the three cases. Now coming to I was just talking about the terms. If you think, typically we have never seen two founders writing this in black and white, but it will be good if one can actually put broad terms of what one wants to do, what one doesn't want to do on an email, and thus just exchange it just for clarity purpose. But typically the early two founders are joined by passion and friendship and a lot of other things. So therefore I think not a formal paper needs to be done. When it comes to the first few employees, our experience has been the following. First of all, how much to allocate? Anywhere between 10 to 20% again is a good allocation for ESOPs, right? Now if you think your company is can really get much higher value, so what you should do is you should see, okay, what my company could possibly get valued in the next 5 years, or next 3 years or 4 years, whatever that number is, and accordingly you should take out, okay, if your company gets valued at, let's say, $1 billion, so 5% or 5 to 10% of that $1 billion is also enough to share between people. But I think take that number anywhere between 10 and 20%. Now let's say of the 10 and 20%, these are the couple of rules we followed. Let's say you hire on full salary. If you're hiring anyone at full salary and you also want to give him ESOPs, let's say he comes at 10 rupees annual compensation and you're giving him his market salary, then he should get, and it's a thumb rule kind of thing, he should get ESOPs to the tune of what salary he would be making in the next 3 to 4 years. So let's say currently he's being paid his market salary by you guys for 10 rupees. In the next 3 years he will be worth 25 rupees. So give him ESOPs worth 25 rupees of the value your company will be in the third year. So let's say if your company get valued at about 1000 rupees in the third year, give him, and his salary would have been 25 at that point of time, give him 25 divided by 1000, whatever that percentage comes out to be. So the thumb rule is get him to make double the market salary if he has. So the bonus is that he has worked in this company, he is getting market salary, but at the end of third year he is getting double of that year's salary. This is if you are paying him market salary, but typically startups don't pay market salaries. If the startups don't pay market salaries, we have just done a thumb rule. We said, oh, you know what, for the first 5 important the team B guys, we will allocate anywhere between 0.5% to 1% and give them in early days of startup, and we've given 1% each to our team B guys, and these are like typically 4 or 5 guys. You give them 4 or 5% and then allocate the rest of the shares when the company becomes big. Couple of terms which we feel are very important. Number 1, you should have the ability to buy back ESOPs. So I'll tell you why I'm saying this. Let's say you gave about 3% to a person and he remained with you for the first 3 years, and then and then he of course left, and he still has these 3%, and that has been vested. Okay, so these are his shares, but now the company has run further for next 10 years. Nothing happened in 3 years. You are running company for the next 10 years and the company has really become big. You should always have the capability to buy back these 3% at the then market value. This is one of the points. The second one of the important points is that be liberal. At a very early stage, be liberal, because you can make or break. The good people can make or break your companies. So in early stages we have been very liberal. In later stages we have not been liberal, because a lot of people we realize that apart from your top 4 or 5 guys, a lot of people probably don't understand the value of ESOPs until unless your company is listed, or until unless your company has a certain amount of exit value fixed. So, and most of the companies probably don't. If that is not done, if you give like 20 shares to someone which are, let's say, in your mind worth 200,000 rupees or 2 lakh rupees, he would still ask for market salary and not give much value to these shares. So it's better to kind of protect the shares to people who don't value. But just before your company is going listing, or you think that the company is getting exiting, I think you should reward people. Last but not the least, I think very important on the ESOP is be very, very careful. ESOP is the most, or equity is the most expensive asset a company has. I would rather pay people market salary and keep and through some other ways keep them loyal than just distributing ESOPs, because I don't want to give ESOPs to people who don't value and who are not loyal or who are not here for long term. Some people think it's an asset that you can give like this, but I can tell you it's the most expensive asset, and one realizes it only after 5-10 years of a company's tenure. So yeah, these were a couple of important things around ESOPs.